The whisper of shadows. The sky above Colony Asteris rippled with pale green light, as if the heavens themselves had begun to fray. In the great observation dome, Lieutenant Liam Reyes stood at the central console, eyes fixed on the holoscreen. Around him, officers tapped at data streams, their faces tense and their voices low. No one spoke of fear outright, but every heartbeat echoed with the memory of that first cosmic message, carried on the wind of space. They are weak. For centuries, the Zarvian coalition had looked down on humanity. Histories and records showed how human worlds had splintered long ago, their fights petty compared to the grand tapestry of star empires. Now the coalition's fleet spread across the Orion Arm, its commanders confident, even arrogant. They shared jokes in the mess hall about a backwater species that could scarcely manage a single warship, let alone challenge the might of thousands. Liam remembered his childhood tales, told by old veterans who had seen humans lose colony after colony. At 5 years old, he had learned the meaning of inferior in both word and deed. His training emphasized caution when dealing with these upstart humans, but caution had long ago turned to contempt. Still, Liam felt a quiet curiosity about the species that dared whisper rebellion among the stars. Tonight, that curiosity pressed on him like gravity. The holoscreen flickered, displaying a ribbon of sensor blips far beyond the coalition's forward patrols. The patterns danced in strange formations, not like mining ships, not like research cruisers, and certainly not like the rickety freighters common among human worlds. Whoever, or whatever, moved out there was hiding behind layers of stealth, fields and electronic smoke. "Report," Liam said, voice steady despite the buzz in his chest. Technician Erin Vale tapped a sequence on her holopad. "Signal is intermittent, sir. It appears only when we cycle the stealth penetrators. It's too small for a capital ship, but too advanced for known prototypes." Across the dome, a senior officer snorted. "Stealth penetrators revealed no signature. That means nothing. Most of our hidden drones remain invisible." He waved a dismissive hand. "Probably black market scavengers." But Liam was not so sure. He recalled a sealed transmission, smuggled through pirate channels, a plea from a human admiral, warning of a weapon that lay silent, waiting to strike. He had filed the message away, marked speculative, but tonight he felt its weight more keenly than ever. In the council chamber, screens glowed with maps of human space. The great hall held dozens of high-ranking coalition lords. They lounged on carved stone seats, their manor-born ease at odds with the uneasy glow of the dome beyond. Lord Varric, a tall figure with sharp cheekbones, leaned forward. His voice cut through the murmurs. "We will send the 7th Fleet to quell the human uprising. Let them learn respect." Around him, heads nodded. Murmurs of agreement grew louder. They spoke of swift conquest, of raising planetary defenses, of crushing human morale in a single strike. To them, this was less a war than a routine exercise in imperial discipline. Liam glanced back at the holoscreen. The hidden blips had multiplied. Now they formed a loose V-shape, a formation used once in history, and only by a renegade human flotilla in the Battle of Vega Prime. His mind raced. What if this was no mere raiding party, but something far greater? The Council's decision came swiftly. "Prepare the 7th Fleet," Lord Varric declared. "We move at first light." The chamber erupted in applause, but Liam did not join in. He felt the tug of something deeper, a warning from beyond emerging like a tide from a secret bay. Alone in the observation dome, Liam watched the sensor field once more. There, in the shifting green haze, a single pattern stood apart, a vast silhouette moving just beyond detection. It was neither drone nor scout. It was a warship forged in human hands, cloaked in shadows. As the dome lights dimmed and the starfield turned in silence, Liam whispered to himself, "So they laughed. But soon, they will see." The call to arms dawn painted crimson streaks across the sky of New Horizon, the flagship of Earth's United Defense Fleet. Captain Nora Hale stood on the command bridge, her gaze locked on the view screen that showed the distant coalition warships massing beyond the frontier. The message from Lieutenant Reyes had filtered through coalition channels like a whisper in a storm. There was something hidden, something powerful, moving just out of sight. Nora pressed her fist to the edge of the console. Behind her, officers hurried to don flight suits and arm pulse rifles. The usual chatter of routine patrols was gone, replaced by a focused urgency. Technicians calibrated long-range scanners, seeking any trace of the unseen vessel. Somewhere, in the void, humanity's secret weapon lay concealed. In the briefing room, Admiral Marcus Grant paced before a holomap of the Orion arm. His uniform bore the scorch marks of past engagements, and his silver hair framed a face marked by determination. He turned to his officers. The Coalition believes they hold the upper hand. They will send their 7th Fleet to crush us, but we have an ace in the shadows. Lieutenant Raj Patel stepped forward, fingers dancing across a console. The map zoomed in on an uncharted pocket of space. Sensor sweeps there show intermittent readings, energy spikes matching our prototype warship's signature. A murmur spread through the room. The prototype, known only as Nemesis, had been humanity's most closely guarded project for decades. Built in secret, crewed by AI-assisted pilots, and designed to cloak itself in graviton stealth, it had never seen battle. Until now, Admiral Grant's eyes softened. Captain Hale, you will pilot the Nemesis. Launch as soon as we lock its coordinates. The Coalition expects our resistance to crumble. They will not see this coming. On the hangar deck, Nora approached. The sleek hull of the Nemesis. Its dark plating absorbed the pale morning light, rendering it nearly invisible. She ran her hand along the smooth surface, feeling the hum of power beneath the alloy. The ship had a soul of its own, an echo of every engineer and pilot who had poured hope into its making. Lieutenant Patel climbed into the co-pilot seat beside her. He nodded. All systems green, cloaking field stable, weapons offline until we engage. Nora strapped herself in. Ready on your mark. As the hangar doors slid open, a roar of engines answered from the other fighters launching an escort. The Nemesis slipped into the void, its contours vanishing against the starfield. Only the faintest distortion betrayed its passage. Minutes later, the Coalition fleet's formation came into view. Cruisers, frigates, and assault carriers arrayed across the black. At their center floated a massive flagship, its hull etched with the coal-black markings of the 7th Fleet. The officers at the Nemesis's helm watched as the Coalition sensors frantically scanned the empty space between the patrol lines. Still, nothing, Nora murmured. Not surprising, Patel replied. They don't expect us to have a ship like this. Nora's lips curved into a determined smile. Then let's give them a surprise they'll never forget. She activated the comm. All units hold position. Engage only on my order. Behind her, fighter wings spread into attack vectors, their engines glowing blue. On the Nemesis's console, target locks began to form. On cruisers at the outer edge of the formation where flak screens were weaker. Suddenly, alarms blared. A Coalition probe had broken through the cloaking field. A red blip pulsed on the sensor grid. Probe. Signature matches small human frigate, Patel said, astonished. How did they? Nora cut him off. No time, they've detected the cloak. Brace for impact. Before the probe could send its alert, Nora engaged the graviton drive. In a flash of warped starlight, the Nemesis and its escort fighters leapt behind the flagship, emerging within the Coalition's own formation. Confusion rippled through the enemy lines as explosions blossomed along their flanks. On the flagship's command deck, Lord Varick's confident smirk melted into shock. What trickery is this? He spat, fingers dancing over his console. His officers struggled to raise shields in time. Back on the Nemesis bridge, Nora felt the tremor of energy blasts striking their escorts. She barked orders. Target the flagship's command array. Focus fire. Phillips, the weapons officer, unleashed a volley of plasma torpedoes. The flagship shuddered as the torpedoes punched through its outer hull. Fire spread across decks, and the Coalition's warship lurched off course. In the aftermath, silence fell. The human flotilla regrouped, escorting the Nemesis in a protective circle. On the view screen, The shaken coalition fleet retreated, startled by the sudden fury of Earth's hidden might. Nora exhaled, voice soft but steady. Let them carry news of this day back to their home worlds. Let them remember, humans laugh at their own peril. As the nemesis slipped back into cloaked shadows, Admiral Grant's voice crackled through the comm. Well done, Captain. Today, humanity strikes not from strength, but from surprise. The war has truly begun. End of Part 2. Echoes of defeat. The battered 7th Fleet limped back toward Coalition space, its ships bearing scorch marks and ruptured hull plates. In the observation dome of the flagship Ebon Vanguard, Lieutenant Liam Reyes hunched over his console, eyes flicking between the retreating human flotilla and the blinking alarms that no one dared silence. Lord Varric's voice crackled over the comm, heavy with anger. They struck like ghosts and vanished. How did one warship and a handful of fighters rout our entire fleet? Liam swallowed. He replayed the sensor logs in his mind, the sudden warp of the nemesis, the precise volleys of plasma, the seamless coordination of human escorts. He had never seen technology so advanced, so ruthlessly efficient. Sir, Liam said, voice low. Their prototype vessel uses graviton stealth and an AI-driven targeting matrix. It can cloak within our own flak screens, then reappear behind our lines. Varric's hand tightened on the console. We underestimated them, that ends now. Liam felt a pang of conflict. He had grown up believing humanity was weak. Now he knew they were far stronger than anyone expected. With respect, Lord Varric, I recommend we hold the line here and rebuild our shields before we advance. Anything else risks another ambush. A tense silence followed. Then Varric's tone softened slightly. Very well. Reinforce our defenses. But find that ship, Reyes. I want its wreckage on my command deck by dawn. Deep within human space, Captain Nora Hale and the crew of the Nemesis surveyed their handiwork. Repair drones hummed around the ship, patching hull breaches from the recent engagement. Nora paced the bridge, determination lighting her eyes. Lieutenant Patel joined her. Our cloaking field runs at 80% efficiency after that last warp. We'll need full maintenance before we risk another strike. Nora nodded. Understood. But we can't wait too long. If we don't press our advantage, the coalition will adapt. Admiral Grant's voice came over the comm. Captain, we've intercepted coalition transmissions. They're mustering a hunter squadron under Commander Varric himself. He's binding his fleet to a new stealth sensor grid. They expect to flush us out. Nora frowned. So they learned from their mistake. Perhaps, Grant replied. But they still don't know our home base. Use that to your advantage. Nora glanced at the star charts. Somewhere beyond the Orion Rift lay Horizon Reach, a remote dock hidden inside a gas giant storm. Only a handful of human engineers knew its exact coordinates. She turned to Patel. Plot a course for Horizon Reach. Warp signature minimal. Use the secondary drive. As the navigator set the course, Nora allowed herself a brief smile. Let them come. We'll welcome them to our world. Back on the Ebon Vanguard, Liam gathered his team in the sensor lab. Pixelated star maps flickered. On hollow panels. Commander Varric wants that prototype dead or alive, he repeated. That means this time we hunt with everything we've got. Technician Aaron Vale tapped a panel. I've upgraded our stealth penetrators. They can now pulse at higher frequencies. We might force the Nemesis to decloak, even if just briefly. Liam studied the readouts. Good work. We need to bait them into a trap. Arrange the fleet in a loose formation near the nebula verge. The ion storms there will mask our sensor pulses. Aaron nodded. I'll program the decoy signals. As night fell over the Coalition's forward station, flares of nebula gas illuminated the colossal warships. Hidden among them, the Hunter Squadron lay in wait. Liam stood beside Lord Varric on the station's outer balcony, the nebula's glow casting long shadows across the decks. Varric's gaze was cold but eager. Tonight, we end this. Find their ghost ship, Reyes, and bring me their flag. Liam clenched his jaw. He would do as ordered, but he knew the cost would be catastrophic. Somewhere in the darkness, Two powerful forces prepared to collide again: humanity's fierce defiance and the Coalition's relentless pride. In the silent expanse, the first echoes of engines approached. The nebula trap, the Ion Nebula swirled, in eerie turquoise and gold, its charged clouds crackling with unseen energy. Deep within its heart, the Coalition's hunter squadron lay cloaked in the storm, waiting for the slightest trace of the nemesis. Lieutenant Liam Reyes monitored multiple holoscreens, each flickering with readings from stealth penetrators. All sensor bands green. Technician Aaron Vale reported, voice steady despite the tense hush. Our decoy signals are in position. They'll think it's a small human convoy making a pit stop. Liam nodded. Good. Lord Varric expects them to blink first. Once the nemesis shows itself, we'll strike. On the fringes of the storm, Captain Nora Hale guided the nemesis through the charged mists. The hull's irregularities gleamed only when the ion currents brushed against its cloak. Raj Patel sat beside her, fingers hovering over the console. We're entering the trap zone, he warned. Coalition signals are faint but growing. Nora's jaw tightened. Maintain silent running. Let them believe the cloaking has no effect. As they slipped deeper, the hull shuddered with static. The nebula's energy played havoc with the Nemesis's sensors, creating ghost echoes of enemy ships that flickered on and off. Nora held her breath each time a red blip appeared. A phantom of the storm or a real threat? Suddenly, alarms blared. Detection breach, Patel shouted. They've triggered our decoy. On the Ebon Vanguard's command deck, alarms echoed as the fleet sprang to life. Lord Varric strode forward, eyes alight. Launch the drones. I want that ship dragged into our kill zone. Below, hangar bays hissed open. Sleek interceptor drones glided out, their sensors calibrated to home in on the Nemesis's energy signature. They moved in perfect formation, a living net weaving through the storm. Back on the Nemesis bridge, Nora watched the holomap. Drones converging fast. We need to break formation. She pressed a series of commands. The Nemesis skirted the edge of an ion eddy and dropped silent mines, small gravitic charges that drifted into the path of pursuing drones. Within seconds, arcs of blue energy lit the dark as the mines detonated, blowing drone wings apart. Half the drones down, Patel announced, voice tense, but more are coming. Nora's eyes flicked to the viewport. Through the haze, she made out the silhouettes of Coalition frigates lurking beyond the storm's core. They were ready for the hunt. Helm, set course through the deepest rift, she ordered. Use the secondary drive to punch through. Brace for heavy feedback. The Nemesis lurched as the drive engaged, warping through a narrow seam in the nebula. On the other side, the storm's energy dissipated, revealing the full might of the Hunter Squadron. Cruisers and frigates arrayed in a deadly horseshoe. Ambush! Patel yelled. They were waiting for us! On the Ebon Vanguard, Liam watched, the Nemesis appear at point-blank range. He felt a surge of triumph, then doubt. The human ship was battered but intact, its shield still holding strong. It glowed with quiet menace like a wounded beast ready to strike. Liam's fingers moved to the override. Open fire! But Lord Varric's voice cut through. No, wait for my mark. The Coalition guns targeted the Nemesis's prow, charging, massive ion lances. At that moment, Nora seized the opportunity. Fire all tubes, she snapped. The Nemesis unleashed a simultaneous volley of plasma torpedoes and graviton mines. The cruiser lead ship shuddered as explosive charges tore through its engines. Fragmented hull plating rained down among the fleet. Sirens wailed on the Coalition command deck. Liam's heart pounded as he watched their net collapse in seconds. Now! Varric roared. Every ship, full broadside. The fleet answered with a deafening roar, beams lancing toward the Nemesis. Nora hit the cloaking release and dove through the broken line. The Nemesis phased through enemy fire, its hull scarred but unbroken. Course for Horizon Reach, she ordered. Let the Coalition taste their own arrogance. As the human ship slipped back into the shadows, the Hunter Squadron reeled, its formation shattered. In the dying glow of the nebula, Liam realized they had been outwitted once more, and that the true war was only just beginning. End of Part 4. The siege of Horizon Reach hidden. Inside the churning storms of the gas giant Orpheon, Horizon Reach lay concealed in a cavernous asteroid base. Massive repair bays and docking tunnels carved into the rock were shielded by gravity wells and plasma curtains. From the outside, it looked like another swirling nebula cloud, perfect cover for humanity's secret haven. Captain Nora Hale guided the Nemesis through the final approach corridor. Though the ship bore fresh scars from the nebula trap, its warp engines hummed with readiness. She breathed a quiet sigh of relief as docking clamps latched onto the reinforced hull. Around her, engineers and medics swarmed in to assess damage and tend to the crew. In the central command hub, Admiral Grant stood before holo displays tracking coalition movements. His face was grim. "They're mobilizing a full assault force," he said, voice low. "Cruisers, frigates, even dreadnought-class carriers. They intend to flush us out and destroy this base." Nora's heart clenched. Horizon Reach was more than a dock. It was the lifeline of human resistance. If the Coalition breached its defenses, every hidden fleet and every civilian world that depended on its support would be at risk. "That won't happen," Raj Patel said, stepping forward. "Our prototype cloaking grid will hold long enough for us to evacuate non-combatants." Grant nodded. "We'll buy time with what we have. Then Nemesis will lead the counterstrike." Miles above, the Coalition fleet emerged from the upper atmosphere. Immense warships bristled with weapons and sensor arrays. Their arrival triggered the base's outer turrets, giant railguns and ion cannons hidden behind armored shutters. Lieutenant Aaron Vale monitored Coalition comm chatter from the command hub. "They expect minimal resistance," she reported. "Their comms are cocky, discussing a quick victory." Liam Reyes stood beside her, eyes fixed on the hollow map of the base's defense grid. He had volunteered to aid the humans after witnessing their strength firsthand. Though still uneasy in alien uniform, he now wore the human insignia of the United Defense Fleet. "Open fire on their vanguard," Liam ordered. "Let them learn how costly underestimation can be." Outside, the base erupted in light. Railgun, slugs streaked into the sky, tearing into the lead frigate's hull. Ion cannons flared, lancing through fighter wings that tried to shield the larger ships. The Coalition advance faltered as unexpected resistance blew holes in their lines. On board the Nemesis, Nora watched the battle unfold through reinforced viewports. "This is our chance," she said. "Once we clear a corridor, we strike there." "Flagship." Patel's fingers flew over the console. "Launching strike teams now." Below the surface, squads of Marines and engineers raced along maintenance tunnels. They carried EMP charges to disable ground-based sensors that the Coalition might use to pinpoint civilian shelters. Explosions shook corridors as charges went off, plunging entire sectors into darkness. In the command hub, Admiral Grant coordinated with ground forces. "Civilians to evacuation pods, military to forward bunkers." His voice steeled with resolve. "We will not abandon our people." Above, ground, Coalition fighters broke through the storm shields and began strafing runs on the inner rings of the base. Engineering modules and supply depots erupted in fire. Nora's jaw tightened. "Time to go," she said. The Nemesis slipped out of the hangar in a blaze of engine light. Escort fighters wheeled around her, shielding her path. The flagship of the assault force floated at the edge of the gas giant's upper clouds, its hull gleaming coldly. Nora felt that familiar pulse of anticipation. "Lock on target," she ordered. On the Ebon Vanguard, now repositioned above Horizon Reach, Liam watched through Coalition sensors. His heart thundered as the Nemesis reappeared, weaving through enemy fighters. This time, he felt respect, not contempt for the human ship. "Here they come," he murmured. The Nemesis unleashed its full arsenal. Graviton mines blossomed around the flagship, disrupting its shields. Plasma torpedoes slammed into its side, ripping gashes in the hull. Escort fighters pressed their attack, carving through the carrier's fighter squadrons. Coalition beams flared in counterattack, but the Nemesis danced between them, its cloaking field pulsing on and off to confuse targeting systems. Within moments, the flagship trembled and listed, engines failing. Back in the command hub, Admiral Grant allowed himself a thin smile. They'll be forced to withdraw. Nora's voice crackled over the comm. Target eliminated, returning, to assist ground defenses. As the battered coalition ships retreated towards orbit, Horizon Reach's shields recharged and repair crews extinguished the last of the fires. Civilians emerged from bunkers into safe zones. Engineers returned to their stations. At the command hub's main table, Nora, Grant, and Liam stood together. 3 soldiers from different worlds, united by a single truth. Underestimating humans was a grave mistake. Grant placed a hand on Liam's shoulder. Welcome to our cause. Liam met Nora's gaze and nodded. I'm honored to fight alongside you. In the swirling storms of Orpheon, Horizon Reach shone like a beacon of hope, a testament to human resilience and the power of unity. As the coalition licked its wounds and humanity repaired its fortress, both sides knew the war was far from over. Shadows within, in the aftermath of the siege of Horizon Reach, humanity's secret base buzzed with repairs and planning. Captain Nora Hale stood before a holomap in the strategy room, flanked by Admiral Grant and Lieutenant Liam Reyes. Lines of coalition supply routes and patrol grids glowed in red, while human supply convoys traced in blue. We've held them off twice, Nora said, voice firm. But they won't stop. They'll learn from each defeat. Grant tapped a convoy icon. They're sending reinforcements through the Cerulean corridor. If we don't cut that line, they'll starve us out. Liam studied the map. That corridor runs across the storm divide, heavy ion storms that make travel risky. We could ambush their supply ships there. Nora nodded. Good, but we need more than surprise. We need intelligence on their convoy escorts. Below decks, Intelligence Officer Mara Cho sifted through captured coalition transmissions. Her small data terminal hummed with decrypted chatter. They're using older frigates with upgraded sensor suites, she reported. But they're also testing a new drone. We've only seen traces of its AI signature. Grant frowned. A sensor drone with AI. If they deploy it, it could rip through our stealth lines. Nora set her jaw. Then we send a strike team to capture one. Mara, can you identify its home station? Mara turned her screen. Yes, the drone is built on Gamma Prime, a refit yard on the edge of Coalition space. It's lightly defended. Then, that's our next mission, Nora said. We'll take the Nemesis and a small escort to Gamma Prime, grab a drone, and get out before they know we're there. Night fell on Horizon Reach, its docking bays illuminated by repair torches. Crew members loaded evac pods with supplies for the Cerulean ambush teams. Elsewhere, Nora checked the Nemesis's systems, her hands steady as she inspected hull seals. Raj Patel joined her. All weapons reloaded, cloak at full power. Nora offered a tight smile. Let's hope it's enough. In the briefing room, Mara laid out the plan. We'll slip through coalition patrols using a decoy convoy signal. Once we reach Gamma Prime, we'll dock under civilian markings, then send a boarding party led by Liam and me. Liam looked uneasy in his borrowed human uniform, yet there was resolve in his eyes. We'll do it, he promised. Grant placed a hand on Liam's shoulder. You saved my base, Lieutenant. I trust you. The Nemesis and 3 escort frigates slipped past coalition pickets, cloaked behind falsified cargo manifests. Their AI-driven stealth held as they skirted the outer defense ring of Gamma Prime. On the approach, Nolan Station's lights beckoned. Dry docks and refit cranes nestled in a rocky asteroid's shadow. Mara monitored coalition channel chatter. No alarms yet, she said. They docked at Dock 42 under human merchant credentials. The boarding party, Liam, Mara, and a squad of Marines, stepped into the hangar, greeted by the low hum of reactor cores and the hiss of hydraulic lifts. The drone bay lay at the station's heart, guarded by 4 heavy infantry. Liam signaled the Marines to spread out. Take the first 2 guards. Mara, you disable comms. In a blur, the Marines secured the entry, subduing the guards with stun, pulses. Mara knelt at the control console, fingers dancing across panels until warning lights blinked out. Deeper in the bay, they found the drone, a sleek, orb-like machine suspended in a gravity field. Its sensor arrays pulsed faintly in the dim light. Liam's jaw tightened. There it is. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red strobes painted the walls. Coalition troops poured in from side corridors. Their new drone buzzed to life, its AI voice mechanical and cold. Intruders detected, initiating defense protocol. The Marines opened fire as Liam covered Mara's escape. The drone emitted a high-pitched pulse, frying comm links and making the lights flicker. Human shields sparked. Mara grabbed the drone's mounting ring. "We have to move now." Liam swiped at control wires, yanking the drone free. The weight of advanced AI tech strained his arms. Above, the Nemesis sounded its alert. "Get back to the ship." Nora's voice crackled over the emergency comm. Liam and Mara sprinted through the hangar, Marines fending off Coalition infantry. Ion bolts sizzled past their heads. At the exit, Raj and his pilot team waited with the small shuttle. The group boarded, breathless and wounded. As the hatch sealed, the turret guns in the bay opened fire, tearing into the shuttle. It shuddered, alarms wailing. "Prepare to launch," Patel shouted. The shuttle shot free and into the asteroid's ring, dodging fire as it sped toward the Nemesis. Nora's ship loomed above. She extended the docking arm. The shuttle latched on, and the Nemesis's bay doors slid shut just as plasma rounds struck the outer hull. In the docking bay, alarms and warning lights painted the walls in red and orange. Back on Horizon Reach, Admiral Grant waited anxiously. When the bay doors opened, Liam and Mara limped out, the captured drone clutched in their arms. Nora followed. Her face grim, Grant broke into a relieved smile. "You did it." Grant broke into a relieved smile. "You did it." Mara nodded, exhausted. "We have their AI sensor drone." Liam glanced at the drone's sleek surface. "Now we can study it, reverse engineer their stealth penetrators, and protect our convoys." In the command hub, the holomap updated. The Cerulean corridor supply ships now moved with human escorts guided by Coalition drone data. Grant tapped the map. "With this drone, we'll turn their own sensors against them." Together they watched as new blue lines, human convoy routes, snaked through the corridor, cloaked behind false signatures. Behind them, the captured drone flickered in its containment field, its pulsing sensors silenced. Above Horizon Reach, the gas giants, storms raged on. But within the hollowed asteroid, humanity's hope burned brighter than ever, fueled by captured secrets and unwavering courage. Turning the tide, under the swirling storms of Orpheon's upper atmosphere, Horizon Reach thrummed with renewed purpose. Admiral Grant stood beside Captain Nora Hale in the central command hub, eyes fixed on the hollow display of the Cerulean corridor. Lines of cobalt energy pulsed along supply routes, human convoys now cloaked behind falsified signatures guided by the captured Coalition drone. "We launched the ambush at 0700 hours, Grant said, voice steady. "Our strike teams will hit their convoy at Storm Passage Delta. The Coalition won't expect it." Nora nodded, adjusting her uniform. "Lieutenant Reyes and Lieutenant Patel lead the escort groups. Mara, you'll oversee drone operations from here." 2 hours later, in the narrow confines of the Nemesis's briefing room, Liam Reyes and Raj Patel reviewed the mission parameters. Outside the window, the ship's hull pulsed with dim graviton light, ready for action. Liam pointed to a projected convoy formation. "They'll send 2 heavy freighters, escorted by 3 frigates, and a new drone squadron. The drone's AI will try to detect anomalies, so we'll create plenty." Patel tapped a handheld pad. "Our fighters will simulate a larger fleet moving east. That'll draw their escorts away, leaving the freighters vulnerable." Liam smiled. "Good. Then the Nemesis can slip in, disable the drones, and seize the freighters." As the briefing ended, the fighters launched first. Sleek interceptors streaking toward the corridor. Their contrails lit up the sky, baiting Coalition sensors. In the heart of the corridor, an Imperial freighter convoy plodded through the charged clouds. Frigates patrolled around them, their new AI drones scanning for any threat. Suddenly the sky flared as coalition fighters broke formation and charged after the decoy band. "Drones, divert," a coalition commander's voice crackled. "Scramble. Escort, intercept the main fleet." But the decoy fighters peeled away, drawing the escorts deeper into the ion storm's edge. Below, low-frequency waves from Horizon Reach's hidden transmitters masked the real convoy's passage. On the Nemesis's bridge, Nora Hale and Raj Patel guided the ship through a narrow rift. Through the viewport, the two massive freighters came into view, trundling through the red-tinged gases. Their escorts were gone, drawn off by the decoy. "Target acquired," Nora said. "Deploy the capture nets and override pulses." Outside, the Nemesis released specialized plasma nets, charged with EMP and graviton dampeners. The nets wrapped around the freighter's engines, draining power and disabling their thrusters. At the same time, graviton pulse cannons fired brief bursts, overloading the AI drones still attached to the ships. Sparks and arcs of light danced across the freighter hulls as systems shut down. "Drones going offline," Patel reported. "Engines down in 10 seconds. True to his word, the freighters coasted to a stop, helpless against the silent drift. Within minutes, boarding teams in armored shuttles descended onto the decks, securing the ships and escorting crews into holding cells. Back at Horizon Reach, Liam monitored the operation from the command hub. Every pulse of energy on the holomap confirmed the success. 2 coalition supply ships captured intact, their cargo holds full of ration packs, munitions, and critical spare parts. Admiral Grant allowed himself a satisfied grin. "This will slow their advance for months, and the morale boost is priceless." Maricho watched the holofeed of the seized ships. "We also recovered drone blueprints. They'll help us upgrade our own systems." Grant turned to the gathered officers. "Today, humanity showed the galaxy our resolve and our ingenuity. We've turned their own weapon against them." In coalition space, Lord Varric paced his flagship's bridge. Sensor logs confirmed the loss of 2 supply vessels and the retreat of his hunter squads. He stared at the holo display of Horizon Reach's position. "They learn too fast," he muttered. "But we will not be undone." Across the arm, coalition commanders scrambled to reroute convoys, bolster patrols, and repair damaged drones. The cost of war had just risen, and it was humans who had raised the price. On Horizon Reach's outer observation deck, Nora Hale and Liam Reyes stood side by side, gazing at the gas giant's roiling clouds. "We did it," Liam said softly. "Together." Nora placed a hand on his shoulder. "This is only the beginning, but today we showed what unity can achieve." Below them, the base's lights shone bright against the dark clouds, a beacon of hope and defiance. In the vast silence of space, the quiet words of Earth's motto rang true. "In unity, we endure. In courage, we conquer." As the stars wheeled overhead, humanity's hidden warship rested in the shadows, ready for the next strike. The war would continue, but now with every secret victory, the legend of the Nemesis and of the humans it served grew ever larger. End of Part 7.